Good evening and welcome to Gaelic Football Views on CavanTV.com.
On tonight's show, we'll be bringing you all the results from round 3 of the All-County Football League, which took place last weekend, and we'll be having a look at the tables, which are 1/3 of the way through the league. We'll also be discussing the Cavan ladies who were defeated by Armagh in the Division 2 League semi-final.
We'll also be bringing you some interviews from the launch of the Legends Cup, which took place last Saturday night in the Carrick Springs.
As well as a look ahead to the other GAA events which are happening in the coming weeks.
Yes, but first we're going to go back and we're going to go through all the results from the All-County Football League Division 1A Round 3. The first game up saw Cavan Gaels taking on Mullahoran, and this one ended in a victory for Cavan Gaels. 1 goal and 12 points to Mullahoran's 2 goals and 6. So it's one of them days where goals didn't win you games, Damien.
No, they didn't. 12 points won you games.
12 points, 12 points.
And it's like we always say, 12 points wins you games when you don't concede a lot of goals. But yeah, that's 2 defeats, I think, in a row now from Mullahoran.
Yeah.
You know, they were going very well in the Breffni League, but the All-County League now hasn't just gone their way. So, having said that, they were against Castlerahan and Cavan Gaels, two of the top teams in the county. So, but you know, Cavan Gaels, after their defeat to Coothill last week, needed to bounce back, and they got the result that they needed. So, well done to the Gaels lads. The second game saw Lacken hosting Ramor out in Lacken, and this finished up with a 1-goal win for Ramor. It finished 2-11 to 1-11. So a good result there for Ramor. Lacken, you know, they're Jekyll and Hyde, I suppose. Some of the times you don't know what you're going to get with them. When they're at top form, they're capable of beating anybody. But having said that, from talking to somebody that was at the game, Lacken could have got more.
Who will remain nameless.
Anonymous. They don't like to put their name forward for criticism, but they push us forward.
Yeah, they push us forward. Yeah,
but Lacken had the chance to win it. Had freeze towards the end and really should have.
Well, Ramor having come off the back of a huge win the week before, I think it was against Lavi.
That's right.
You know, they annihilated Lavi, and then to come out play Lacken must have really put it up to them, you know, to only lose by a goal and to have the chances to win it. So probably a good performance by Lacken, but disappointing to not get the result in the end.
Yeah, exactly, and they'll need to be picking up wins in that All-County Football League, because the last couple of years they've been struggling down the bottom end of the table, so they need to get up that table, you know, so that they're not fighting relegation at the end of the season.
The next game saw the table toppers Castlerahan taking on Ballyhaise down in Ballyginstuff, and this one finished in a draw, 1 goal and 13 points apiece. So great result for Ballyhaise. I suppose the John Brady factor would have had something to do with it as well, and it would have been a game that Ballyhaise would have been gunning for. Castlerahan don't like dropping points, you know. They were top of the table, so we'll be coming to that in a few minutes. But
and Cian Mackey played. I know he didn't play the week before, we were noting, but it was a flu that had kept him out. He was one of the many coming back from America that caught that flu. So he played. Ronan Flanagan had played. You know, Ballyhaise last 10 minutes pulled themselves back into this game. I was talking to Ronan after the game, and he was saying that, you know, Castlerahan were in control, but let Ballyhaise back into a game that they shouldn't have really. But well done to Ballyhaise. For an intermediate team fighting up in Division 1, they're the only intermediate team up in Division 1A, and they're holding their own, so they're doing very well. The fourth game saw Kings Court taking on Coothill. Coothill, who had toppled the county champions last weekend, had a second big challenge ahead of them. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it 2 big wins in a row. Kings Court come out with a convincing win here, 15 points to 6 in favour of Kings Court. Now, I just wonder, and you'll be able to tell me, did the soccer affect this?
Oh, definitely did. I don't think that any of the soccer lads would have played in the Coothill Celtic Gaelic match. Coothill Harps were playing in the Ulster Junior Cup, first ever Cavan team to get to the Ulster Junior Cup final, and they went on to win it in extra time. But you would have had at least four, maybe even 5 players off the Coothill senior team that would have been involved. Enda Hessen, Stevie O'Connor, Paddy Smith, John, no, what's the other brother's name? Paddy Hesson as well.
Okay.
You know, like they would have had a lot of lads involved
Right.
in the soccer match.
So not a full strength Coote Hill
No,
team. So they'll not be too disappointed with that result then.
No, they won't. But
the
you
end.
know, they don't want to be taking beatings like that, especially when they're missing. It just shows you that maybe they're not as strong panel-wise as they may have thought. Like you know, so they do need their best players on the pitch at all times.
They definitely do. So well done to Kings Court there. A good win picked up on the third round of the league. So the fifth game of the league saw Lavi taking on Ballina. Lavi, who were well beaten last weekend by Ramor, needed to bounce back, and they came back with a draw. Yeah. So it finished 16 points to 113. Ballina, that's 2 draws in a row. 2 draws in a row, but like Lavi will definitely be delighted with their performance. 16 points, 16 scores on the board, and drawn with Ballina, county champions from 2013. So it's the bounce back that they wanted, and and very competitive.
And at senior level, you need bounce back ability.
You do. Yeah. Well, it's vital. If you haven't got bounce back ability, you're stuck in one spot. We'll just go to the tables now, and you can see they're top of Division 1A. Castlerahan sitting pretty with 5 points, so they've dropped 1 point with the draw.
The draw this week.
Obviously against Ballyhaise. Then Ramor, who have a game in hand of 4 points. So if Ramor win their game in hand, they can go top of the table. But everybody bar Ramor have dropped points in this Division 1A, which shows how extremely competitive it is.
It is, and you can see like Ballyhaise, they're sitting on 1 point down the bottom, but there's nothing between any of the teams really. They'll have great chances against the likes of Coote Hill, Lacken, Ballina, Lavi. They will put it up to those teams. You know, they're good enough to be up there. So again, a lot of football to be played in this division yet.
Yeah, there is. So we move on now to Division 1B. Again, this was round 3 of the All-County Football League, played on Sunday afternoon. And the first game saw Red Hills taking on Crushalloch. And Crushalloch came away with the victory here. It finished 2 goals and 9 points to Crushalloch's 20 points. So it's a big win, but I was told that there was only a point in it as they were entering injury time or something like that in the last few minutes. And Crushalloch hit 5 in a row in the last few minutes to make the scoreboard look bad, but that it was very competitive up until the last 2-3 minutes of the game.
Well, Crushalloch must have done something right to hit 20 points, like 20 scores to 11 scores. It's nearly double scores. Red Hills, who were struggling at the minute, probably the last 2 games, I think it was down to the last few minutes. A man got sent off in their last game, I think, and it was only then that they seemed to lose that game. And again, you said it, the last few minutes, this game, Crushalloch hitting 5 unanswered points.
The positive from a county point of view, Torlock Mooney played.
Excellent.
He's obviously part of the county panel. Suffered a bad injury back in, I think it was November. But he played very well in the middle of the field. His fielding was outstanding, I was told. So that's great to see, and we look forward to seeing more of Torlock Mooney in a Cavan jersey and in a Red Hills jersey.
And a Red Hills jersey is right. The next game saw Killigarry taking on Drumlane, and the guys from Killigarry lost at home on a scoreline of 1 goal and 13 points to Drumlane's 5 goals and 7. And
well, we always say, and we never diversify from this, it's a golden rule. Yeah. Goals win games.
Goals win
it's the
games.
Only thing.
And Drumlane hit 5 of them.
And actually, what happened, the story of this game was that Killigarry in the driving seat, winning by 5 points, and in something like a 10-minute spell, Drumlane
4 goals.
4 goals in a 10-minute spell, just turned everything on its head, and Killigarry had no answer. They were just leaking goals right through the middle, so it was disappointing, I'd say, defensively wise for Killigarry, but we did hit on this already.
We've talked about this already, yeah.
Attacking wise, they're going to be a threat all the time. If they can sort out their defence and match it up, Kieran Riley will have them.
They are leaking goals at the minute.
Yeah.
That's something they are doing now. In the last few games, it didn't cost them because they managed to rack up a huge score of points. But this time, to let in 5 goals, there's not too many games you're going to win if you leak 5 goals.
You're dead right.
So,
you're dead right. The next game saw Arva continue their wonderful march through Division 1B, and they beat Den on the narrow scoreline here, or narrow victory anyway. 2 goals and 13 points to Arva, and 1 goal and 14 to Den. So 2-point win for Arva, and the team coming up from junior are ploughing their way through Division 1B, as we'll see on the table here.
I was talking to a guy from Kilcullins and who they played last week and beat last week, and he said he's never seen a team so together. He's never played against a team so together, and all the lads they play for each other, and they're just a team. He said, and which is absolutely brilliant. And they're young, which is brilliant. They've got a hunger for winning. They've won a couple of medals at different levels and a couple of different trophies. They're hungry for more, and it's great to see them ploughing through it, as you said.
They're still missing Kevin Boucher, Brian Ellis, young Shorten. Like they've an injury list that is only going to make it incredibly difficult for somebody to make that Arva team come championship.
Yep.
So that's great progress by the junior champions of last year.
The next game saw Drumgoon taking on Killashandra, and Drumgoon came out with a 1-goal victory here. It was 2 goals and 6 points to Killashandra's 9 points, so 12 points to 9 there in favour of Drumgoon. A good win for Drumgoon. Yeah,
very good win, convincing. They're doing well in that division. They're holding their own. Probably the disappointing thing is the fact that all in all you had was 17 scores. We've seen, who was it, Crosslaw had more scores than the two teams put together in their results. So probably not one for the purists, but
Joe Brawley left that match at half time.
He did actually. Well, he heard what was going on in Killigarry, and he said he wanted to watch goals. So, but it probably not a great spectacle, but that won't bother Drumgoon. They've picked up the result and are happy to beat a Killashandra team who won last week anyway. I think we'll look at the table now and see exactly how well they've done, but they're not a bad side, Killashandra.
No, definitely not.
The last game saw Cuhullins, who were beaten by Arva last week, we already discussed, taking on Gowna. This was over in Gowna.
There's a bounce back ability again here.
Exactly, because they bounced back with 16 points and held Gowna to only 9 points. So that was a wonderful
great
result for Cuhullins. Any team that goes over to Gowna and picks up a win like that, they've their day's work done.
Yeah, definitely. The exact words out of my mouth. I was going to say, anyone who can go over to Arva or over to Gowna and pick up 2 points and keep Gowna to only 9 points. They've done a lot of work that day.
They sure have. We'll just go to the Division 1B tables, and as you can see, Arva sitting on top. 3 games played, 3 victories, they have 6 points.
Yeah.
And they're the only team in that division not to have dropped any points at all, so they're at the maximum. Drumlane coming in second there with 2 wins and 1 loss, and Gowna with the same, actually 2 wins, 1 loss, and Drumgoon with the same 2 wins and 1 loss.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams sitting there in around the 2 points and 3 points mark. So the Red Hills are sitting at the bottom of the table on 0 points. Not looking good for Red Hills so far, but they're starting to. They're clawing their way back in slowly but surely. They're getting closer and closer to a victory.
Starting to become more competitive. Yeah. And if you're losing a game only in the last 10 minutes, then there's something to work with.
Yes, exactly.
All is not lost out in Canicrua. So it's there's my Oscar.
Oh, so we're going to leave Canuckrua and we're going to go to the ACFL Division 2 Round 3, and the first game played over the weekend was Ballymacue taking on Swan and Bar. And the visitors, Swan and Bar, came away with a huge victory here. It was Ballymacue 2 goals and 4 points to Swan and Bar's 3 goals and 14 points. So a 13-point win there for Swan and Bar.
Yeah, and as I've said already on this show, after the time we played them, Swan and Bar with a full team are going to be very hard bet in this division. They're very strong. That's 3 wins they've picked up now, and they're racking up big scores. I know against Beltor, but it was low enough score, and I think it was 110 or something like that. But they're still. They're getting on the scoreboard a lot, and when they have everybody available.
That's it. Like they really are. They're not a Division 2 team. Like they're definitely intermediate Division 1B and close to Division 1A when they've got a full squad.
The problem that they have probably is that they've 16, 17 players of a real good quality, and then maybe they lack on numbers after that, and the bit of strength coming through after that.
But they can't, like, any injuries at all.
2-3 injuries to them is massive. Yeah. But they're going injury free at the minute, and you can see it in the results. So well done to Swan and Bar.
Yep.
The next game, unfortunately, me grinding me teeth, I have to call this one out.
Do you want me to call this one out?
No, I better.
Belturbet were taking on Killincare down in Belturbet, and Belturbet came away with a big victory here. It was 4 goals and 14 points to Killincare's 7 points. Damien, you were at this game.
I was, unfortunately. Well, it's that old saying, and Belturban must be listening to me because goals win games, but 14 points would have won the game as well. 14 points would have won the game,
but didn't have to get the 4 goals as well.
No, it was a very disappointing day at the office for Killincare. Got off to a good start. I think we went 4 points to 1 up, and then Belturbet won a penalty. Bud won a penalty, and he hit it wide himself, and we thought, right, look, lovely day. It's going to be our day. And then they won the following kick out and ended up sticking it in the back of the net, and then the wind sort of picked up, and then they started to, because we were defending quite well, there was maybe 20 minutes gone, and the wind started to pick up, and Gio kicked a couple of long range points and another couple from other players in Belturbet, and they ended up going in at half time 6 points up. From being 3 points down, they went 6 points up in the space of 10 minutes.
9 point turnaround in 10 minutes.
And that really, really caught us bad. But we came out in the second half and hit the first 2 scores, brought it back to 4, and we were making progress, playing with the wind, and the ball went up the other end of the field, and Gio, on his first attack again, stuck the ball in the back of the net, and it injured our full back. He ended up having to go off to get stitches in his eye. Just a complete accident. He was trying to dive to block the kick, and as he came across, him and Gio's boot collided, but there was no malice in it at all. It was just unfortunate, but that was a blow to us, and everything just fell apart after that. I have to say, it was
just a bad day at the office, and nothing went right.
Yeah, one of those days that nothing went right at all.
Chalk it off to experience.
Well, that's it. You learn a lot more from days like that, but it's important to learn.
Yeah.
It's important to learn, so we'll move on.
That's it.
Butler's Bridge were taking on Muncher Connacht. This game, I think it was in Killashandra actually they played this game. But they came out with a victory anyway, Butler's Bridge. 2 goals and 18 points to Muncher Connacht's 2 goals and 12. Now that sounds like a game.
Yeah, that sounds like a cracking game. And I'd say Muncher Connacht would be saying, Jesus Christ, 2 goals and 12 points, and we still lost the game, like 18 points. But when you hit 24 points, unless you're playing a game of hurling, you're very unlikely that you're going to lose that game.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And Butler's Bridge with a good young team coming through there, they're going to be hard bet. They've got talent in the forward line that is probably their strength at the minute. Queven Riley, Killian Leddy, John Fitzpatrick. Then the Fergal Flanagan, obviously been able to push up into that forward line as well. Jonathan
actually,
Leddy.
just as you mentioned, you think they played in Killashandra or whatever. The opening of the Butler's Bridge pitch is next weekend.
That's right, as we'll allude to at the end of the show. We have all the up and coming.
But they'll be back in that pitch now in maybe 4 or 5 weeks' time.
No, they're actually back this weekend. They're playing Ahavas, but we'll come to from this weekend on. That was the last game that they've had to play away from home.
Right.
So
okay, that's good.
And it'll be interesting to see can they even go further ahead, because they're making great strides. Butler's Bridge.
The last game saw Lara United taking on Shercock, and this one ended up in a draw down in Stradone. It was Lara 9 points, Shercock 1 goal and 6. Looks like, it's a low-scoring game, so I'm presuming it was a disappointing game to be at, I suppose.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. Basically, from what I was told, Lara had the chances to win this one. It was theirs for the winning, and missed the opportunity. But Shercock showing their experience and showing their quality, and they have quality. Looks like a bad day at the office for Shercock, but they still managed to get a draw out of it. So they're a formidable outfit, Shercock. But Lara, after suffering defeat the week before to Killincare, they'd have been hungry to make sure that didn't happen 2 weeks in a row. And
again, that old bounce back ability factor.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's what it takes. If you're capable to bounce back after a poor defeat, then you're showing you've quality in it. So, but the again, 16 scores in the game there. It's not really, I wouldn't be one for the purest of heart, but.
Compared to the Butler's Bridge and Muncher Connacht game, which had 34 scores in it, like the game beforehand that we mentioned.
That's it, but it just goes to show you each week, like the week before, I think Shercock racked up a massive score. So you just don't know day to day. Everything is going to be different.
And with all the different systems that are out there for playing Gaelic football now, you can go all out attack, or you can go all out defensively,
or you can play man from man. Look, we've got so much tactical options available to Gaelic football, and to me that's great. It gives a variation in football, and that's no harm. Variety is the spice of life. But we'll move on now to the Division 2 table, and as you can see, sitting on top there again with maximum points for the second division in a row, it's Swan and Bar. They have 6 points with 3 games played. Shercock undefeated, but picking up that draw yesterday with Lara mean that they have 5 points.
Yeah, and then just under them you see Butler's Bridge with 2 wins from 3, so sitting on 4 points. Down the bottom we have Drumalee on 0 points. They've only played 2 games. They have a game in hand on a few teams there. Lara on 1 point, and you've 3 or 4 teams there on 2 points. Ballymacue, Killincare, Munster, Connacht. So look, a lot of football to be played in this division still yet, and you know.
But a third of the way too. I suppose the golden rule being that if you're looking at promotion, the maximum you can lose is 2 games.
Yeah.
So anybody who's lost 2 games at this stage can't afford to drop any more points.
Exactly.
And everybody above that then is looking for promotions, you know. So it's you're at this come Friday night when all the games are over and done with, you'll have a fair idea if you're in the hunt for promotion or fighting relegation.
Yeah.
You know. That brings us on now to the All-County Football League Division 3, Round 3, and Cornafane were taking on Kill on Sunday afternoon out in Cornafane, and the home side came away with a big victory here. A scoreline of 1 goal and 17 points to Kill's 12 points, so that's an 8-point win for Cornafane. What's going wrong with Kill?
Look, I think that Kill again need every player available to them to be competing every week in, week out. They are an aging team. There's most of their top players will be aging. Pierce McKenna, I'm not sure if he's still playing. I'd say
it's safe to say that all the team is aging.
True. Okay, let's get into the science of it now. So,
I know what you're saying.
There's a lot of them now that are like, you know,
aging at a faster rate.
Yeah, exactly. They're an older team, you know, and I think that's what's, they don't have a lot coming through behind.
Yeah,
you know, and that's
struggling with numbers, small parish, but having said that, they're playing Drung this Friday night. And don't be surprised if they turn around and pick up a win against Drung.
Do you know what? I'd be putting that one down for a draw.
Yeah.
So you just cannot call a local derby, and especially not a Kill Drung game.
Yeah, that's it. You're damn right. Speaking of Drung, they were taking on Mount Nugent. That was a great link, wasn't it?
Seamless.
Absolutely
seamless.
Until I ruined it by talking about it. Drung were taking on Mount Nugent, on Sunday afternoon, and they came away with the victory here. 3 goals and 10 points to Mount Nugent's 11 points. So that's a good 8-point victory against a good Mount Nugent team.
That's it. Yeah, you know, and Mount Nugent who picked up a good win last week. So Drung putting them to the sword there with the 3 goals again and again. That old saying, goals win games.
It does indeed.
That leads us on lovely now. Just speaking of Mount Nugent, Knockbride were playing Curla on the weekend.
They were indeed. Speaking of seamless,
seamless.
And this
Where's he going with this?
And this was a classic.
Knockbride
won this by 2 points on a score line of 1 goal and 5 points to Curla's 6 points. So, I suppose 2 teams that are in a rebuilding process.
Think Curla have been building for a while now.
They have, in fairness. And look at again struggling with numbers.
But like in fairness to them, they've done really well this year. They've
picked up 2 wins. I think
it was 2 wins, but one of them was a huge win.
That's right. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was against.
But it was a surprising win.
It was a surprising win. And then like Knockbride, who are like they do have some quality footballers. To keep them to 6 scores, and only a 2-point win for Knockbride, you know.
That's it.
Curla are making slow. They're making
steady steps.
Exactly. Slow, steady steps. So
you're right.
Best of luck to
them. Cavan GAA then were taking on Kildallan. This was a home game for the Terry Kyle men, and Kildallan came away with a monster victory here. Cavan GAA's 1 goal and 8 points. Kildallan 2 goals and 19. Give us the lowdown from Fragile.
I didn't get talking to the man. I didn't get talking to the man Mountain, so I didn't. I think they're all still partying in Ballyconnell yet, like it's 1999.
Yes, so they are indeed.
In Kildare, but 25 points to 11. Look, Cavan GAA have been struggling. They didn't fulfil the fixture last week.
That's right.
You know, they don't
numbers
have numbers.
Is probably a problem.
It's crazy to think a team, a town team that are so, you know, stand outish, you know, like everybody, they're synonymous with senior championship in Cavan. To think only 3 years ago they had 3 teams and they had nearly enough for a 4th, and now they can't even put a 2nd team together. Like, well,
I don't know. It's something that the GAA as a whole need to look at, because it seems to be an urban problem. But yet in Dublin, then I don't know what it is exactly. But look, it's good to see them fulfilling the fixture, getting lads football, and that's the most important thing, that lads can get out and enjoy it and play the game. So Templeport were enjoying their weekend because they had a local derby against Shannon Gales, and they came away with a 1-point victory here. Finished on 1 goal and 14 points to Templeport, and 2 goals and 10 points to Shannon Gales. So 17 points to 16. That must have been a cracker too.
Yeah, I'd say that one was hard. I'd say that had everything in it.
Everything, yeah.
I'd say that.
Well, we can see it had scores.
It definitely had scores, and I'd say it had sores as well after it. So it did. But no, a great win for Templeport. Again, another team who are making great strides at underage level. They've had some good minor teams and stuff, and they're starting to come through. Shannon Gales as well, quality side. You know, when you look at when they have all players available to them too. Again, a good side. So
without a doubt, and we'll move on. You can see at the table again. In 3 divisions we have a team at the top that have won all of their games. You know, which is good to see that. There's a bit of consistency there. But Templeport are that team in Division 3. They've won 3 games, haven't played 3. Drung now have only played 2. They've won 2, as have Kildallan. So they must have to play each other, I think, coming up in the next few weeks. So they have 4 points, and then you have Cornafane and Knockbride and Shannon Gales all with 4 points, but they have all 3 games played.
Exactly, yeah. And then down the bottom you have Cavan Gales on 0 points, and would you believe Corla are above Cavan Gales on score difference on 0 points, and you also have Kill there
by that single point.
By that single point, but. Do you know that if the league was to finish with Corla above Cavan Gales or above any team, that'd be a victory for Corla, who have been languishing at the bottom of their division every year for the last
few years,
number of years. You know, so
without a doubt, So round 4 of the All County Football League takes place this Friday night, with all games throwing in at 7:30 p.m. It's a good idea to have them games on a Friday night because it gives people a chance to then go out and enjoy their weekend, get the Butler's Bridges we've already mentioned, watch Cavan taking on London. But
all 4 divisions.
All divisions. All games.
7:30.
Friday 7:30. Yep, across the board. So there's no excuses. It's the last game that the county footballers will be available before the Monaghan clash. So hopefully the weather picks up and we've a good evening for it, and it'll make for a good feast of football.
It'll be a nice weekend of football if the weather could pick up for that, and so everybody get out and support your local team. It's all about the parish. So
that's the local scene done.
The Ulster Minor Football Shield final, which was due to be played last Saturday, is now being played. The Shield final. It's Cavan and Tyrone. It's now being played this Thursday at 7:30, and it's in Brewster Park. That game obviously was postponed due to the untimely death of Shane Mulholland, who we just want to, pay our respects to. Very unfortunate what happened to Shane, and a massive part of the hurling development in Cavan.
Yeah, and brilliant coach. I've talked to a few people who worked with him and worked under him, and said that his passion for the game and his ability to coach and communicate with lads and get on well with lads and players, it was second to none. And he's a huge loss to the hurling development in this county, and he'll be very, very hard to replace. But more importantly, we offer our condolences to his family and to all the people who knew Shane. But he left a lasting memory in Cavan GAA anyway. He'll never be forgotten.
Absolutely.
The Cavan under-16 ladies beat Donegal by 11 points to 3 yesterday in the Ulster A Championship. So well done to the Cavan ladies. That's bounce back ability.
It is indeed, yeah. After losing last week, they needed to get a victory, and to win, 11 points to 3. That's to keep Donegal to 3 points. That's brilliant for them. So it is.
Absolutely wonderful. So well done to all involved there. The Cavan under-14 ladies beat Donegal on Saturday. This game was in Templeport, and this was a massive score. 5 goals and 12 points to Donegal's 2 goals and 5. That's a wonderful score and a wonderful result there for Cavan.
It is, yeah, and it just shows you the work that's been done at the underage level, and hopefully they'll keep at it, because it's year on year now we're starting to produce these great underage girl footballers. So
the conveyor belt is constantly churning.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The Cavan senior ladies took on Armagh in the National Football League Tesco Homegrown Division 2 semi-final in Clonus on Sunday, yesterday at 1 o'clock. And unfortunately, nothing went right for Cavan yesterday, and they lost on the scoreline of 2 goals and 20 to 1 goal and 8.
Haven't got off to a good start, I hear.
Yeah, they were a goal and 2 to a point up. They got up to a fantastic start. Within 16 seconds, Donna English had the first score on the board. Then Roisin O'Keefe free put us 2 points up. Then Donegal got a point, and then a goal. Armagh. And then we got a goal, a great goal. Who scored the goal? I think it was Aisling Sheridan who got the goal. And a great ball across the box into a diagonal ball. The defender had to kind of stay between the goalkeeper and the player. Went over her head, she caught it, went around her and rifled it into the net. Cavan were cruising. And then just simple ball handling errors, basic football skills started to let them down, passing, tackling. Now, having said that, Armagh were very clever. You could see that the experience in Armagh. They were fouling their half forward line, were fouling all our backs coming out with the ball, slowing it down. They get back into position and whatever. But it was just basic skills that let us down. The pass, the kick pass, the fist pass, and the ball handling. It was very unfortunate for them. The girls, it was their biggest defeat all year, their second defeat all year. The last one was against Donegal last week. Again, they were very unfortunate to lose that. But to lose to Armagh are a very seasoned team.
They're current Ulster champions.
They're current Ulster champions. They had a girl playing corner forward, Amy Mackin, and she scored 1-8 from play. And she was phenomenal. The Cavan tried marking, putting different girls marking her and whatever. But the ball stuck to her hands every time it came in, and she turned right, turned left. She was kicking with left, kicking with right foot.
Brilliant.
Great to watch her. Just disappointing that Cavan didn't have somebody to emulate her in their forward line. But look, next up for Cavan is the under-21s. Oh, you have that up.
As you know, I don't have but you're right, at the under-21, Aisling, what's it called? Aisling McGinley tournament or something like that, I think it is.
Yeah, but it's the All-Ireland anyway. It's the All-Ireland Under-21 Championship. So the next up for that, for Cavan ladies, is that. That'll be, I think it's around the 21st of May.
Okay.
And then after that is around the 20th of June, they're playing in the Ulster Championship.
That's it. The 21st of June is the first round of the Ulster Championship, and they take on Tyrone, and that's in Cavan.
Yes.
So that's the next big game for the Cavan senior team. But the Cavan, Conor, Barry and co are over the under-21s as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are indeed, yeah.
So they'll continue pushing that on and hoping that they can improve.
That's it,
that.
yeah.
A lot of that panel is under-21.
There's a good few of the panel under-21, and I spoke to Conor after the match and I did an interview with him. Look, he was very disappointed at how they just nothing went right for them, and then they just kind of gave in. In fairness, it did look a bit like that on the day. It might be the kick in the behind that they need. They've had a great season so far. They went unbeaten throughout the league. But look, they'll again bounce back ability.
That's it.
And the under-21 championship is a great way to get that out of the system. So it is. So look, there's no doubt. I've no doubt that they'll put it up to Tyrone in the Ulster Championship.
They will indeed. The Cavan minor ladies, though, this coming Saturday take on Fermanagh in Group 1 of the Ulster Championship. So we wish them the very best of luck. We don't have an actual time for that day, for that game, but it is this coming Saturday against Fermanagh, and it's in Fermanagh somewhere. So stay tuned to probably the Cavan LGFA Twitter page,
account, and they'll definitely have it, and
they'll keep you up to date.
If we get it, we'll tweet it out and put it on Facebook as well.
Yeah. On Saturday night last, the Den GFC launched the Legends Cup in the Carrick Springs, and I went out to this at the request of the organising committee there. But
they requested you didn't just arrive out.
No,
I have a camera. Let's do this, boys.
Didn't just gate crash.
Hello.
I'm known for gate crashing, but I didn't get away with it.
Only parties.
Only parties. But we have a couple of interviews lined up here, and the first of them is where I spoke to Donncha Brady and Martin Cahill. Donncha Brady is chairman of the organising committee, and Martin is a member of the organising committee from Den. And we discussed basically where the idea came from and what the benefits of it are. So the Legends Cup, as he explained, is an over 35 tournament that then GFC came up with the initiative. But we'll roll with that video if we're ready to go there. Brian
and Martin, two of the organisers, was chairman of the Legends Cup. Donica, where did the idea come from?
Well, it kind of came up with the idea last year when I was selected with the team, and a few of the older players had come to me and they said, what about getting the tour team back? And kind of looked at it in the tour team, you kind of bang the county board playing whenever they're playing, and it probably didn't suit guys to play Sundays or midweek travelling and stuff. So I thought, what if there's a tournament or a league you could play just for the summer? Like we used to have here at the Gold Rush tournament. And so we kind of thought, right, we got 8 teams to come together, and you did train for whatever, 8-10 weeks, and then either had a league or a tournament at the end of it. That's your summer, and and it's over and done with, and you don't have to worry about it. And the games are fixed, and training's fixed, and you just turn up and play, and that's it. So we kind of that was the kind of started idea, and then we just took from there, and now we're here.
And then you got the likes of Martin involved. Martin, when did you get involved in the whole process?
A couple of months ago, Donica asked me would I get involved, and I was very happy to get involved because it's a thing I'm passionate about. I think that maybe the level that you have to be to play football now at senior level and obviously at junior level is putting people off playing, and unfortunately people when they're 32, 33 definitely feel they're a little bit over the hill, or some young guy of 19 or 20 is running past them and they don't particularly like that. So it's an opportunity to keep people involved, but I see that the social side of the day, the people that may go and talk to SOSAD and may go to the Heart Foundation, I think that's critically important as well, because it's an area that the GAA needs to we have health and well-being, but we do need to keep pushing that on very, very much in every club.
The face of the GAA and what it has become over the last 10-15 years has completely changed from what it was. It's less about social, it's all about getting yourself in physical shape and competing at the highest possible level, but there are downsides to that as well.
I see that, yeah. Look, it's great when you're at the highest level, and I suppose when the county teams raise the bar, then clubs raise the bar and junior teams raise the bar, and we're probably losing players to junior. What would be typically an ordinary junior player doesn't feel comfortable playing now. But equally, I think the social side of the game is gone. I'm not saying that we should all go out and go drinking or anything like that, but after every game when I played, we had a couple of drinks, whether it was the Abbey Inn or Reasons in Ballymastone or something like that. Sometimes it used to be very hard to get by Pat Faye's in Virginia. You got in there in the evening, you were there for a long time. But that was the way it was, and you didn't set low scores, and it didn't go to a nightclub afterwards. You had a couple of drinks and maybe with the guy you were after having a fallout with, and that was it. It was done and dusted. Now young people get into the car, they go in 100 different directions, and they don't see each other till the next training session. And I think maybe it's rural Ireland in a way is maybe breaking down, and that's maybe just a symptom of it,
Yeah, it's also years ago when even I first started playing football, you knew every player from every club around you. Now they don't know that. They don't know the players they're playing against.
When I played and you couldn't play in Kingscourt, you knew the guy, even though you wouldn't see him from one end of the year to the next, but you'd have talked to him in the pub after, or you'd talked to him in the field after, and the next year you would have known him, and you kind of built up a relationship with people like that. You wouldn't meet, you don't even know them, but you knew them through football. If you know what I mean, you could meet them in the Breffni Park at a game, and you'd know them just from playing against them. But now I think it's gone, especially from seeing it being on the other side, on the selecting side for the last few years. It's not really there anymore. That the players don't really know each other, and they don't want to know each other.
Yeah, so the idea of this is try and bring back maybe just the fun of participation and the social aspect of the GAA.
Yeah, well, most of the teams that we have now, we would have all played against each other. So, like, even that aspect of it, that they all came along, shows you, they'll be happy enough to play. In 10-15 years, would the same happen again? I don't know, but just the guys that we played against, they kind of played in the same way as we did, and that's why they're probably here too, just to kind of get playing again. Because, as you said, it's very hard to make time with your family and small kids to come up train twice with the seniors and go on a Sunday to maybe Kingscourt or Dungoon or somewhere that'd be. So you're away for the day, and it's a big ask for a lot of fellas that's 38, 39, that their kids might have seen them, through football, as a football before. 80 youth, maybe, you know, 2 days a week and a weekend. So they're trying to spend time with the family, and it's very hard to, you know, give time to football. So this type of thing just gives you too much during summer. Go back out, train with your friends that you played with, play in a tournament, have a bit of fun, and, you know, get a bit fit and get back out there.
And the goal of the tournament is not a fundraiser for Den GFC,
No,
it's for charity.
It's for charity, yeah. It's the two charities came on board. And the two charities is the two aspects of men's health that are really the most critical. Your physical health, which is the Irish National Foundation, and mental health, which is OSAD. And a lot of people, as you were saying earlier, a couple of the lads said, you don't get to see maybe 2 or 3 lads only twice a year, or maybe at a wedding or something like that. And whereas you used to be in a dressing room with them people 3 nights a week, you know, and now you might see them once a year. And that might be because they don't come out or I don't come out, but you know, that's really what you get to, is that you don't really get to see, and especially that age group might be in Facebook or Twitter or social media, so you might not just see them a lot. And it's sad, it's kind of sad in a way that, you know, someone that you were very close playing on the team together, then you don't really see them anymore. Don't get. So hopefully this kind of thing will get them playing back together, maybe get them back, you know, in the social aspect as well, and then you never know.
You have a couple of sponsors willing helping out on the day.
Yeah, well, Gaelic Springs are going to do the food sponsor the food for all the teams that's participating, and McDade's Pharmacy Group is sponsoring as well, just for bits of packs that's going to give and things like that. So.
And so the draw for the competition will take place live on Cavan TV the weekend of the Cavan Monaghan match.
We're hoping to hold it the night before the Cavan Monaghan game, and then we'll know, each time we'll know then who they're playing, and you know what you know, Saturday the first day is the 20th, so what time we're playing and who you're playing.
That's the 20th of June, and then the following week is the final stage.
The finals, yeah, it's the semi-finals and finals. So you'll play a qualifier on the 20th, so depending on who you get in the draw. And then if you win on the 20th, you go into the cup. If you lose, you go into the shield, but you all come back the following weekend to play your semi-finals and finals.
Very good. Well, best of luck with it. It's a great idea, and thanks for asking us out to cover it for you.
We'll ask you again.
Yeah, so that was myself talking to Donica Brady and Martin Cahill about the Legends Cup. As the lads explained, it came from the idea that, you know, people reach over 35, a lot of them do anyway, not all, Mickey.
No,
but a lot of them do,
yeah.
and they think they're too old to play football, and the participation just disappears, and probably what their point is that the fun aspect of Gaelic football is nearly gone, that it's got so professional, so competitive, and that, you know, the day of it being a social event of going out, playing a game, going for a drink, whether it be a mineral or something with the opposing team after the game, and, you know, getting to know people from around the county, that's all gone. People jump in their cars and go home, and their idea is to try and bring back more of a social aspect to it, which is positive thing. Firstly, lads are out, they're getting football, and that's good for the Heart Foundation as one of the charities. And the second one, good for mental health, to be able to go out, socialise, talk to people. You know, the more you talk, the better your mental health is going to be.
That's
and
exactly, you know.
The opportunity, I think it's an absolutely wonderful idea, and compliments to Den and to all the people involved who decided to run this tournament, because it's an absolutely excellent idea.
And as they already mentioned, it's for 2 different charities. It's for SOSAD and for the Irish Heart Foundation.
Yep.
So and you know, incorporated it into it already, in that you're going to be going out, you're going to be doing a bit of cardiovascular work, and then not only that, but you're going to get to be able to sit down and talk to people afterwards. Exactly. Just as you mentioned that, like, you know, the thing about Gaelic football these days, yes, it has gone very professional, and you know, it's all about getting to the game, going home, and preparation and the whole lot. Like, but not only that, but people are very busy. Life is so busy these days. You don't have time to stop after a game of football. You don't have time to, you know, go in and meet your opponent and sit down and have a chat with him and get to know him. Yeah. And people are just, life is so fast these days that people don't get a chance to do that anymore.
Yeah, without a doubt. And actually, isn't that the funny thing that was different or seemed unique in New York, that because they play all the games in the one pitch, then they finish a game, they go to the bar, they meet the other clubs, they sit and watch the other clubs playing, and it's more like the old GAA.
Yeah, it's more of a community.
Whereas in Ireland, every club, we have our own grounds, and they're all spread across the county. You know, maybe there's a debate then because a lot of people want championship games being spread out at Breffni Park, but maybe if Breffni Park became more of a social hub as well, that during championship summers, when the clubs are going hot and heavy at it, that there's facilities for people to stay there, watch all the games, meet lots of different people.
Tea and sandwiches, that's another thing, is that I remember growing up going to matches, and it didn't always have to be about the pub afterwards or whatever. Yeah. There was always tea and sandwiches. The volunteers came in, parents, club members and whatever, they come in and made tea and sandwiches for both teams. Yeah. Both teams come in afterwards. They shook hands after beating the head of each other for a while in the football pitch. Had a cup of tea and a sandwich.
As Martin alluded to in that, but yeah, without a doubt. The second video we have lined up are three lads who are from three of the clubs participating in the Legends Cup. So we can roll it there, Brian.
Joined by Benny, Martin and Paddy from Killigary, Lavey and Drumalee at the launch of the Legends Cup by Den GFC. Great idea, Benny. It's something that is a problem probably in GAA. The way people have evolved now, we're still fit at 35, but for some reason we stopped playing Gaelic football.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to 35 years of age, people, when you finish playing with your club, life just doesn't stop. The competition will be great for people of that age and older who are still physically fit and want to be involved in football and have loads to give the football. It just shouldn't be, you're cast aside and you're on the heap and that's it, you're finished. And it is a big thing for footballers to actually stop playing football and then say, 3 nights a week gone. What do I do with myself now? So it will be something I can see it really taking off, and lads from chatting to my own ex-club mates and club mates from other clubs around the county that they're looking forward to it and see it as a great day to meet other people as well that they haven't seen in years and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a very good idea.
Yeah, Martin, I suppose the way Gaelic football has evolved, it's got so serious now that people feel that the fun and the enjoyment is gone, even from maybe junior football. But this is an opportunity to, I suppose, bring back the bit of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the name of the game. I mean, it's been very evident in the last few years that the level has filtered down from county level, where it's got more and more professional. It's peaked its way into senior level and even the levels below that. But there's no room for a slow 35-year-old anymore. You've 17, 18-year-olds coming along and making fools in the field. So. Yeah, it's great to get an opportunity to talk back out again. I mean, I know Benny talked about the gap that's left when you retire. I mean, it's not every man that is able to carry on in some capacity in a club, whether you move upstairs or you don't often have time for that. But be able to talk back out and get back out in the field is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I suppose, Paddy, the opportunity might be there to settle old scores there. Den and Killigary is love each other.
Since '98 I've been trying to get at Jerome, so this will be my time to settle an old score with him.
Get off from '98.
I've seen you running the roads alright, you're sprinting, so you're ready for it.
I'm flying, David. I'm ready for it.
As an idea, it's an absolutely brilliant idea because it's a difficult thing to continue to play.
It is. We probably haven't seen some of the lads in 10 years. To actually, as the boy said, used to go out for a drink after a match, socialise and get together. And your family and kids, it's not the same. You don't meet up with lads you haven't seen in a long time. So I'm hoping it'll be a good event, family event, and look after our health and fitness as well.
Yeah, will do. Thanks very much, lads, for that.
Okay,
cheers.
Yeah, so that was the lads there from Killigary, Lavey and Drumalee, Paddy, Martin and Benny. But as they were saying, just delighted to, when they heard the idea, to get involved, and they got a great response from the people in their own clubs as well. That I know that within Drumalee they started up a WhatsApp account for the over 35s. Now I know what you're thinking. How did lads that are over 35 know how to use WhatsApp? It's amazing. But some of them lads, John Woods and Porrick Woods, they might look old and silly, but they actually know that technology. They can master it rightly, so they can. And it's very entertaining. Actually, the conversation on the Drumalee one, I have to say, is brilliant. The crack was priceless. But for nothing else, for bringing that group of people together who grew up playing football together, went to clubs together, pubs together, school together, and
for one reason or another they've kind of all spread out, between married life, women, work, location, the whole lot, and to get them all back together, it's a fantastic idea.
It's just such a good idea, and I'm so delighted that we were asked to get involved and to help it out. And as was alluded to earlier on, we will be broadcasting the draw for this live on the Saturday night before. So that'll be the Gaelic Football Views show. We'll be doing it the night before the Cavan game against Monaghan. So and that will take place here in the Cavan Crystal Hotel. So anybody who's around will try and do that. It'll be a live audience on that night. So it should be a good night's crack.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be good fun.
The next video, we spoke to another couple of players, 3 more players who are participating with 3 more clubs in the Legends Cup. So we can roll it there, Brian.
Joined by Noel, Danny Mel and Jerome from Den, Mullahorn and Castlerahan, again at the launch of the Legends Cup. Noel, to start with you, it's a great idea by a neighbouring club to come up and get people back out playing football.
That's right, Damien. When we announced at our club meeting, it was taken up right away because there was members in our club that had stopped even earlier than 35, and yet feel that they're still fit enough to play. So we're going after them boys now and get them out on the road. And I'll be in the car, of course. They'll be out running, and I'll follow them.
Beeping horns and flashing lights.
That's something. Yeah, I'll keep the time watch.
And Danny, I suppose people would recognise you. You've played a lot of football down through the years, but the gap when you finished playing football, did you find it difficult to leave it behind?
Yeah, that's true. But look, you have to get on with it, and this here now is great. It's a great thing to be run, and we also had a close association then over the years, the Den Watch tournament, and it's a great way for young lads and old lads to meet, families to meet, and bring it on.
And get back out and get involved.
You know,
Mullahorn, though, they wouldn't be terribly competitive like these. They'll be taking it nice and easy on the day of the show.
Well, that's the plan.
And I heard a few people, Jerome, talking about how they're going to get revenge on you. What did you do on people?
Listen, I don't know. It was a very, very bad opinion of me out there.
All false.
All false, absolutely. No. Dumpy came with this idea to us. Listen, we kind of had over a few points we're actually talking about them. And here we are tonight at the launch. So it's great the way it comes on. Like, Brent Dunnock has done a huge amount of work to get this thing off the road. So it's great for all the lads that in our club. Like, we have lads that we might see maybe once a year. Now everyone's going to get together and be able to get back into the old and talk about old times. Playing football together was all. So it's a brilliant idea, and hopefully all goes well in the day, and we can continue on in the years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, as I say, it's an inaugural tournament, but all going well, it's something that the Den club would like to run anyway.
Exactly, yes. Let's see how this year goes with us. I mean, if other clubs enjoy it and we enjoy it ourselves, I can't see why we can't make this an annual event.
Absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much, lads. Best of luck.
Thanks,
Jerome, Danny Mel and Noel from Den, Mullahorn and Castlerahan. Noel, as he said, he's not going to be playing, but he is going to get involved in the running of the team. As he said, he's going to make them run, and he's going to go behind them with the car beeping. Absolutely wonderful. But yeah, 3 great lads, and some are christening the tournament to Get Back Jerome tournament, because
I'll tell you one thing, I'd love to be playing in the Den so.
a lot of us wanted to get back at Jerome, but that was actually what the possible, or the funny thing about it, or the brilliant thing about it, was that, you know, there was players there who would have taken the heads of each other when they played years ago, but you shake hands and you get on.
It's
left on the football field, and that's what's brilliant about it. And I love the whole idea of it, and I love.
I'll tell you, it's going to be. It is a great idea, and it's going to be great fun. But it's going to be competitive.
Oh, definitely.
Because these boys, I've played football against all these, and every one of the ones that I've seen so far were very competitive footballers on the field. You know, so there is going to be a bit of competitiveness to it.
Yeah, as was said, there are full rules applied, so black cards, yellow cards, red cards, but the yellow card is a sin bin. That's right. They're adding into it, so they're very determined that it doesn't turn into score settling. But as Paddy Hyland alluded to, he owes Jerome one, so you'd never know if he's fit to catch him.
Well, he'll have to join the queue, so he will.
Yeah. But the last people we spoke to were the 2 charities involved, so we'll roll it there, Brian.
Joined by Christine and Mairead from the Irish Heart Foundation, and so sad, the charities involved with the Legends Cup. I suppose, you know, from a Heart Foundation point of view, being active regardless of age is very, very important.
Oh, very much so, at any age, but I suppose especially when they stop playing football, they tend to just, you know, do very little exercise. So this is a great idea. for people to get back out there and start exercising again, because it's the most important exercise, especially at coming 30s, 40s, that age group, because they can have high cholesterol or blood pressure or lots of things like that, you know, they wouldn't have when they're younger. So this is a brilliant idea, and I'm so glad to be part of all this great venture.
Excellent. And from a social point of view, mental health, I suppose it is related to activity. If you're out, you're running, you're participating in sport, it helps with your mental health.
Well, statistics show that, you know, physical health is the first healer in mental health. They say 1 in 4 people suffer from mental health. So bear in mind that Donaghy's hoping to get 25 per team. You may imagine every one of them has 25 mental health illness at some stage. So as much as they all like to think that everyone has finished playing sport underneath 35 and they're living at home and is happy, you can be sure there's a lot of people living at home in those houses that are not happy. So this, along with the physical side of things, will get people out, get people talking, raise awareness, and healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy competition. Hopefully they won't kill one another.
Fingers crossed, but you will both be there to give a hand if there is support.
Yeah, no bother.
Thanks very much, ladies.
All right, thank you.
Okay, join.
Yeah, so that was the two ladies from So Sad and from the Heart Foundation, who are obviously the charities going to benefit most from the Legends Cup, which, as we said, takes place on June 20th, Saturday June 20th, and Saturday June 27th. So, you know, get involved. The clubs that are involved are, if I can remember them all, you have Castlerahan, Mullahorn, Den, Drumalee, Lavey, Killigarry, Cavan GAA, and Mullahorn, yeah. There's one more, it just eluded me. Oh, Crusherlaw. That's the 8 clubs. So if you're a member of any of those clubs and you want to participate, just get on to your club secretary, and I'm sure they'll have details of how you can get involved, because it's going to be a great couple of weekends, and it
is, and hopefully
very
we get the
worthy
weather,
cause.
and it'll be, you know, it'll be a good occasion, and it's look, it could be made into, it definitely will be made into an annual thing.
Yeah,
so,
I think it will.
It's a great way to meet up with old foes and old friends.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. So just before we say goodbye, we want to bring you some of the club information, some of the stuff that's going on in the next few weeks. So as we said already,
yeah, the Den GAA Legends Tournament takes place on June the 20th and 27th in Crosskeys. The launch night was last Saturday night.
Yes, it was indeed, and the draw will take place on Cavan TV the Saturday night before the Cavan v Monaghan game. Butler's Bridge will open their pitch. That's this coming Saturday, the 2nd of May. The game will see Cavan taking on Lurkin Mulvey and Colum Smith's London at 7 p.m. out in Butler's Bridge. Before that, Butler's Bridge will take on, I think it's Oha Vass from Leitrim, and it's at 5 p.m. So look, it promises to be an absolutely great day out in Butler's Bridge.
It doesn't. There's going to be that'll be followed by drinks in the Highball Inn.
Of course, it will.
Yeah. It promises to be a great day in Butler's Bridge altogether. No, but it is, and there's going to be lots happening. I've been talking to a couple of people from Butler's Bridge as well, and all the teams are going to stay local to Butler's Bridge after the games and stuff like that. There's going to be a great, I suppose, carnival atmosphere.
It will. It'll be exactly that. And the point actually that I didn't realise until this week was that Colum Smith is coaching the London team.
Colum Smith is coaching them
from Kings Court.
Yes.
So he has, you know, it'll be just interesting to see. I think there's a possibility he might even be playing for London. If he's playing for London, that means he won't be available for Kings Court in the Championship, and that'll be a huge loss.
Absolutely.
So we'll watch this space as that story unfolds.
Also, Ramor United will open their new pitch, which they're renaming after their former chairman, Niall Dolan, who died last year. The opening, which will take place on at 6:30 p.m. on May the 10th, we'll see Cavan take on Meath. We will be doing a special show in preparation for the event on the Monday before that game. So that again, that looks like it could be a great day out in Ramor as well.
Yeah, they have a full day of festivities organised already, you know, from kids' festivities to games, and obviously all culminating in the Cavan v Meath match, which will be the last challenge match that Cavan will play before.
It'll be for both teams before they go into championship between Leinster Championship and Ulster Championship.
So that'll be a no holds barred game. It'll be all out for that one. So you know, mark that date in your diary. It's the 10th of May at 6:30 p.m. in
Cavan
Ramor.
Meath one after the the
defeat
defeat
in
in
Park
Park
Tolchin.
Tolchin a few weeks ago. So, excuse me, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Remember, if you want to get in contact with us, we'd be delighted to hear from you.
You can email us on GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views, or you can follow us on Twitter @GaelicFV.
It just seems a little bit off.
It does, I don't know,
I don't know
there's
what
something.
happened
Due to continuity was nearly ruined there.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, until next week, it's good night from me and
God bless.